Hello, Tailgate Legends. Here we are, 4 weeks in. It may not seem like it, but we are 4 weeks in. That is 1/3 of our regular season. Every year it flies by. It's so much fun, but time flies when you're having fun. And so, yeah, here we are, 4 weeks in. Um, so for today's video, I'm going to run through last week's matchups. Gonna do my top 5 breakouts of the year so far and my top 5 busts of the year so far. And then just gonna run through next week's matchups. So get into it right away. Last week's matchups, we're gonna start with Ricky 2000 against Cheeseheads with Attitude. Roofer against Landon. This is the Robert Tanyan game right here. Man, Robert Tanyan went off for 32 fucking points. 32. Boggs and I, we share a team in Roofer's other fantasy league, and we started him this week. Which is crazy. Like, Robert Tanyan got started in our league, and we started him in Woodchuck's league. So it's like he got used. Like, 3 touchdowns didn't go to waste. So, but so here we are. Roofer still started Deshaun Watson. I get it's Deshaun Watson, but at this point, I think Josh Allen, you can't sit him ever. It's like you just can't sit him ever. Well, Josh Allen got him only 5 more points, so it would not have won him the week, but Landon got a win. Hey, I picked Roofer in this game. Landon got a win. Russ cooked again. Ronald Jones with Leonard Fournette out. Ronald Jones is pretty good. Traquan Smith with 2 touchdowns. I kind of dogged Traquan Smith in my last video. He had a good game. So, so there you go. Jarvis had a good game. He had the passing touchdown. And then, of course, Robert Tanyan went off. Roofer, your team it looks okay. I mean, you still put up 126. That's respectable. Chris Carson had a really good showing, but Landon just got the best of you. Landon put up 152. I think that was good for the 4th highest in the league this week. So team's looking better. All right. Okay, next matchup we got Sam and Co. Weiler and Co. I personally changed that, so I apologize if I offended anybody, but I did change it to Sam and Co. Let me know if you want me to change it back, because I will. Against Burns. Burns had Tom Brady throwing 5 tutties, but that was pretty much it. And then you got Devontae Parker got you 16. That's okay, but you only put up 110, and then Sam and Co. put up 136. Lamar went off. Melvin Gordon went off. Man, Melvin Gordon looked good. It was against the Jets, but still, he looked good. Allen Robinson with 21. Kenny G with 16. So really good showing from you. Good squad again. Next matchup, we have Baby Got Dak against Evan Sure. Baby Got Dak got so lucky. Man, 125, 123. All Evan needed was 2 points. 2 points from Calvin Ridley, of all people. Calvin Ridley. I'm going to talk about Calvin Ridley a little later. But all he needed was 2 points. Oh, man. That's Jair Alexander for you. And Matt Ryan looked like dog shit. But our defense looked really good, I think. I don't know. Every time I say our defense looks good, they come out the next game and look like dog shit. So we'll see. But Lemke, your team looks good. I mean, you only put up, I shouldn't say only, but you put up 125. For your standards, that's sort of low. Prescott got you almost 50. Mike Evans got you 26. James Robinson with 15. Besides that, your team did not look very good. And then Evan, man, Kittle on your bench with 36. That fucking sucks. That's pain. That's real pain right there. However, however, how are you gonna put George Kittle on the bench? I'm looking at your lineup right now. You started I mean, realistically, you started Tyler Boyd over George Kittle. And I know George Kittle was like questionable, but then he wasn't questionable. Then he was just playing. Like, there's no way in hell I'm ever benching George Kittle. If you're benching George Kittle, trade him because you can get a lot for him. All right. Um, but yeah, okay. So Baby Got Dak got the win, 125, 123. All right. And then me against Greasers, this game was way fucking closer than I wanted it to be. 163, 154. Gurley ended up putting up 24, which I thought there was no way in hell he was putting up 24. So between Tyreek Hill and Todd Gurley in the late games on Monday, um, gave me a little bit of a run for my money, but I'm okay with what happened. Hopkins got me 7. That was my lowest output against, except for the Cardinals defense. But I had the fucking Titans D and the Steelers D on the last second bye. And then the Patriots were playing the fucking Chiefs, so I had no choice but to play the fucking Cardinals. But yeah, feel good about the squad. I was like, man, I got Terry McLaurin on my bench. I gotta find a way to get him in my starting lineup because he has faced some of the best corners in the league and come out on top every single time. I gotta find a way to get him on my lineup. So we'll see. That's we'll talk about that later. And then Greasers, man, like Robert Woods did not have a good game. Moelle Cops, he had a touchdown. Besides that, like your squad looked good. You put up 154, man. So it's a tough loss. I think you were the third highest scoring team. Next, we have Mr. Fist against Shit the Bed Fred. Mr. Fist, 173. High score of the week. I don't know if that's your first time getting high score of the week, Gar. It's definitely one of the few, if you have gotten it before. But congratulations, man. You had a stellar week. Mahomes, 27. And Mahomes easily could have put up 4. Like, that was a shit game for the Chiefs. David Johnson with 15. Alvin Kamara with 25. Odell with 42. CeeDee Lamb with 25. DJ Chark with 27. Like, your team went off. And then we have Prusky. Carlos Hyde in his fucking starting lineup. Brusky, I know you texted me about it. Oh, I had Carlos Hyde. I was on an airplane, blah, blah. I don't give a fuck. Get fucking players who are playing in your fucking starting lineup. That is it. It doesn't matter. It wouldn't have mattered. You could have put Jesus fucking Christ in your lineup. Wouldn't have saved you from fucking Gar. So, you put up 71 points. Gar beat you by over 100, so you got wrecked. And then last but not least, we have Pump and Munch against Fresh Prince of Elair. Yeah, came away with the win, 130 to 68. Oh, 68 is not good. 68 is really not good, but you figure it out maybe. You got A.G. Brown and Michael Thomas hurt. I get that. And you got Mostert hurt. I get that. But man, 68? Fuck it. All right, so those are last week's matchups. Standings as of right now. Let me run through them real quick before I get into breakouts and busts. Okay, so in the Bags division, we have Baby Got Dak at 4-0, Evan Shearer at 3-1, Sam and Co at 3-1, Cheese Has with Attitude 1-3, Ricky 2000 1-3, Burns 0-4. Our division, we got Pump and Munch at 4-0, Fist at 3-1, me at 2-2, Greasers at 2-2, Fresh Prince of Elair at 1-3, and then Shit the Bed Fred, Shit in the Bed epically at 0-4. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to give my top 5 busts and my top 5 breakouts of the year so far. We're only 4 weeks in, so there's plenty of time. But I'm going to start with busts. And I'm going to go most significant from 5 to 1. Number 5. My number 5 biggest bust of the year so far is Brandon Cooks. I have him at number 5 because it's like going into the year, people were a little skeptical anyway. But is Brandon Cooks, and Brandon Cooks is fucking terrible. Terrible. He's not startable. He's not, I don't even know if he's rosterable right now. That's how bad he is. He has, on the year, 20 points. 20 points. And he has played in, I think he's played in every game. He has played in every single game. No injuries. Brandon Cooks, number 5. Number 4. Number 4, I have Marvin Jones. I'm going with Marvin Jones because, like, usually by now he has one huge game. The thing about Marvin Jones is, though, now that I've said this, they have a bye week next week. The week after that, they have the Jaguars. Now that I've put him in my bust category, he's going to come out and have a huge fucking game in week 6. But yeah, like, as of right now, he only has 28 points. Not very good. And yeah, normally you can count on him as, like, you can count on him a little more than that. So that's why I got Marvin Jones, number 4. Number 3, biggest bust of the year, Mark Ingram. Yeah, I said it. Mark Ingram right now has 37 points on the year, which normally for Mark Ingram, that's like just one really good week for him. Not that it's completely his fault. Oh, by the way, none of these busts are injury related. So like Saquon would be on there and whatever. You know, I'm not including injuries because that's fucked up. But Mark Ingram, back to Mark Ingram, like that Ravens backfield, they're splitting time with Ingram, Gus Edwards, and J.K. Dobbins. Mark Ingram has, I'm pretty sure I looked up, he has less carries or less touches than both of them. So, I don't know. Yeah. Not super happy with Mark Ingram in my other league. Other league. Okay, but yeah, Mark Ingram, I got number 3. Number two, biggest bust of the year so far, I have Kenyon Drake. Kenyon Drake has been not very good. He has 50 points on the year. So it's like, yeah, he's not doing good. He's not doing terrible. But he had 18 of those 50 points were in week 1. Then he had 12. Then he had 14. Then he had 4. However, Kenyon Drake was kind of touted at the beginning of the year because of how good he did last year. So it's like justifiable. But he did so good last year, everybody's like, oh, he's just going to be like a top 5 running back, maybe top 10. I don't know. He's not either of those things. So, you know, high hopes, high expectations coming into the year. He has not lived up to any of them in any way, shape, or form. However, I think he can get a turnaround. But as of right now, he is my number 2 biggest bust of the year. Number 1, so far, my biggest bust of the year is DJ Moore. DJ Moore. As of right now, DJ Moore has 43 points on the year. He has 9 points, 18. So week 2, he had a good outing. 8 points and 7 points. I'm going to give you a list of names of people who have more points, or not people, receivers only, that have more points than DJ Moore. Laviska Shenault has more points than DJ Moore in our league. Michael Gallup did have the big blow-up week, but Michael Gallup has more points than DJ Moore. Cole Beasley. Cole Beasley has more fantasy points than DJ Moore. Scott Miller of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He is having a decent year, but Scott Miller has more fucking fantasy points than DJ Moore. And last but not least, John Brown. Now, John Brown is a good player, but they have Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen is playing out of his mind. But John Brown has more points than DJ Moore. And coming into the year, it was expected that DJ Moore would kind of turn into that number one wide receiver, fantasy-wise anyway, and it just hasn't happened. So those are my top 5 busts of the year. Breakouts. Okay. Top 5 breakouts, again, by significance, 5-1. Number 5, I have Calvin Ridley. Now, I know some of you guys are like, what? He just had no catches. You're right, he did. However, even with no catches last week, he still has 82 points on the year, which is good enough to be like the second best or third best wide receiver in the entire fucking league, even with a goose egg 1 week. Coming into the year, Calvin Ridley was kind of on that wide receiver 2 teetering, with potential to bust into that wide receiver 1 category. Calvin Ridley has done that. I know he had a shit game last game, but he had week 1, 33.9 points. Week 2, 29.9 points. Week 3, 17 points. Week 4, but still like the second wide receiver in the league. So that's why I got Calvin Ridley, number 5. All right. Number 4, Darrell Henderson. Do I think he can keep it up? No, I don't. However, I have Darrell Henderson as number 4. Right now, Darrell Henderson has 63 fantasy points on the year, and that's with week 1 only having 1 point. So after that, he had 25 points, 28 points, and 8 points. He did not have that great of an outing last week, but Darrell Henderson has been really, really good. Like I said, Cam Akers is coming back this upcoming week, so I don't think he can keep it up. But as of right now, he's a top 10 running back in the league. Darrell Henderson with extremely low expectations. And this is all about expectations, all right? That's why they call them breakouts. That's why I got Darrell Henderson, number 4. Number 3, Robert Tonyan. Fucking Bob Tonyan. He has right now, he is tied in the entire NFL with 5 touchdowns on the year. He has 58 fantasy points for a tight end. That's really good. Right now he is outscoring Mark Andrews. Right now he is outscoring pretty much everybody. Travis Kelce, he has 1 less point than Travis Kelce right now. So Robert Tonyan, and I think he can keep it up. I really do. Maybe not on the pace that he's on right now, but he's going to end up in double-digit touchdowns. I don't see any way around it unless he gets hurt. But Alan Lazard is out now. Marquez Valdes-Scantling, it's not even deniable. It's not disputable. He's an okay piece, and he can contribute a little bit, but he's not a wide receiver 1, and he's not even a wide receiver 2. He's probably at best a wide receiver 3 or a wide receiver 4 with some big play ability. That's it. Robert Tonyan, he gets shit done. All right. So I really like Robert Tonyan moving forward, and I think he can sustain a high level of success. Number two, I have Josh Allen. Josh Allen has been a fucking stud. A stud. He has 160 fantasy points. That is good for number 2. He has more fantasy points right now than Dak Prescott by 0.14 points. But still, I mean, Dak Prescott is on a tear. That's how good Josh Allen is playing. Russell Wilson has 167 points. He is the leading fantasy player in the entire league. But Josh Allen coming in, I mean, the expectations weren't that this high, not like this. So it's impossible for me to leave him off this list. Josh Allen is playing out of his mind. I'm gonna lose $100 bet probably to to Roofer about who was gonna have more Pro Bowls. I took Sam Darnold, and this is when they were rookie, before they even played an NFL snap. After they got drafted in that offseason, I took Darnold. Roofer took Josh Allen, and it looks like Roofer's going to win that. Um, so yeah, Josh Allen, number 2 breakout. He's been a stud. And then number 1, my number 1 fantasy breakout player of the year has been James Robinson. Um, he has been a stud. He was undrafted. The Jaguars cut Leonard Fournette, and everybody was like, "Oh, Chris Thompson and Zigbo and all these names," and the Jaguars were like, "No, this dude James Robinson is fucking good." All right, and like you watch him play, and it's like, damn, he is good. Like he's legit. I don't have Myles Gaskin on this, and that's because when you watch him play, it's like, okay, he's okay and he's making do with, some things, but James Robinson, like you watch him run, is like, damn, this dude is legit. He is legit. He's one of those guys. I see him as sort of an Arian Foster kind of person. And I can see him sustaining this success, unlike Myles Gaskin. That's why I don't have him on this list. But I can see James Robinson sustaining it. I love James Robinson. I have him in my other league. He is my number 1 fantasy breakout player so far. So those are my lists. Yeah, if you disagree with them, go on the chat. I'm all ears, all ears. I love debating stuff like that, as most of you guys know. But yeah, so let's get into next week's matchups. All right. Okay, number 1. Number 1, we have Burns against Landon. Cheeseheads with attitude against Third Degree Burns. Man, it's like you look at Burns' lineup and it's like, man, he's got a decent squad, but it's not decent enough. And then you look at Landon's team, and it's like his team blew up last week. Do I think it can happen again? Maybe. I mean, he's got Keenan Allen. The thing about Landon's team is, if Justin Herbert keeps throwing to Keenan Allen the way he is, Keenan Allen is going to be a fucking stud. Wide receiver 1. Jarvis Landry is not that good, but can Jarvis Landry contribute 10 to 15 points? Hopefully. And then Deontay Johnson is legit, and he had a bye week last week. Deontay Johnson is back. But the running backs, man. Oh, the running backs. You got Ronald Jones, Brian Hill, Philip Lindsay. Your running backs are so bad. But I'm still taking Landon in this matchup, in a close matchup. It's going to be like 105 to 103. Landon over Burns. I could be wrong, but it's going to be low 100s for both the teams. I would actually bet money that one of the two teams, I don't know which one, but one of the two teams doesn't crack 100. I might bet money on that. But yeah, I'm taking Landon in this one. Next matchup, we have Sam and Co., Weiler and Co. If you want it to be, let me know. Against Evan Scher. This is going to be a fun matchup. Matt Ryan sucked cock in his last matchup against the Packers, and now he's up against the Panthers, and the Panthers actually have a really good pass defense, and that affects Matt Ryan and Calvin Ridley. It sounds like Julio Jones might miss this week, so we'll see. Weiler's team is legit. Like Robbie Anderson is really good. I I almost put Robbie Anderson in my breakouts, but like Robbie Anderson's not really a breakout because Robbie Anderson has done this before, you know. Um, Lamar Jackson against Matt Ryan, obviously Lamar Jackson wins that. Melvin Gordon against Dalvin Cook, Dalvin Cook wins that. David Montgomery against Damian Harris, who fucking knows? Um, Tyler Boyd against Kareem Hunt, that's actually a much better comp than people think it is. I'm gonna take Kareem Hunt with Nick Chubb out, but it would not surprise me at all if Tyler Boyd and Kareem Hunt were really, really close in points. Calvin Ridley and Robbie Anderson. Robbie Anderson's been balling, man. Like you can't just get stuck on the names. You cannot get stuck on the names. Robbie Anderson is balling. So is Calvin Ridley though. I'm taking Calvin Ridley, but again, the Falcons' defense is fucking terrible. If Robbie Anderson outscored Calvin Ridley because the Panthers' pass defense is really good and the Falcons' pass defense is really, 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 really bad, I mean, if Robbie Anderson outscored Calvin Ridley, it wouldn't fucking shock me one bit. And then you have Darren Waller against Travis Kelsey. Fucking Darren Waller. I'm taking Travis Kelsey in that one, but and Evan will find a way to get George Kittle in this lineup. He'll probably take out Tyler Boyd, and then you got Kittle against Kareem Hunt. That could be close, but I'm still taking Kareem Hunt by a small margin. This is gonna be a good game, but I'm taking Evan. I'm taking Evan in this one. Yeah. I think it's gonna be really close though. Weiler's team is legit. It really is. But I'm taking Evan in this one. Next matchup, we got Baby Got Dak against Ricky 2000. Um, yeah, we got Deshaun, Dak Prescott, Mike Davis, Chris Carson. Um, yeah, I'm taking. I gotta take Lemke's team here. It's just so many studs. And like Roofer, like Chris Carson is really good. That's great. Mark Ingram is not that. He's not even fantasy relevant right now. Josh Jacobs is like, I have Josh Jacobs in my other league, and it's starting to piss me off. And then Will Fuller. Who knows what you're gonna get out of Will Fuller? DJ Moore. He's on my top 5 bust list. He's my number 1 bust of the year. Um, Hunter Henry has not been that good. And then on the other side, you got Mike Davis, James Robinson, Hollywood Brown, who I don't mind Hollywood Brown. He's got an okay floor, I guess. But then you got Mike Evans, Tyler Lockett, Dalton Schultz, and Dalton Schultz has been getting work. Um, Dak Prescott, he's throwing like 500 yards a game. He's got to throw it to somebody. Might as well be Dalton Schultz. So I'm taking Baby Got Dak in that one. Um, Next matchup, we got Mr. Fist, Gar, against the Greasers. Man, Gar's team is good. This is exciting because, Gar and Yach's team their teams just haven't been that good ever. And now both of their teams are really good. So it just makes it fun. But we got Mahomes against Wentz. Wentz is fucking terrible. Wentz is fucking terrible. I should have put Wentz on my bust list because he is fucking awful. Mahomes wins that matchup by a fucking mile. David Johnson against James Conner. That could be a wash. Who knows? But Conner could have. I mean, Conner will probably win that matchup, but it wouldn't surprise me if they were close. And then you got Todd Gurley against Alvin Kamara. Todd Gurley had 2 touchdowns last week. He will not have 2 touchdowns this week. No fucking chance. Alvin Kamara is a stud. Wins that matchup. Odell against Amari Cooper. Honestly, chances are Amari Cooper wins that matchup. Odell is not going to do what he did this past week again. Not this week anyway. And then Tyreek Hill against DJ Chark. I don't know. That could be a wash. I guess Tyreek Hill by name might take that. By name, I don't know. But like DJ Chark is really good, so we'll see. And then CeeDee Lamb against Robert Woods. And I feel like CeeDee Lamb's ceiling is way higher than Robert Woods. Robert Woods' ceiling is like 6 catches for 85 yards, maybe a touchdown. That's his ceiling. Yeah, Robert Woods just has not been very good. So I don't know. And then Jared Cook against Mike Gesicki, and that's a wash. If Gesicki probably even takes that, so I'm taking Gar in this one. Yeah, I don't. Gar probably wins this by over 10 points. Maybe, yeah. Yep, I'm taking Gar. And then next matchup, we got Pump and Munch against Shit the Bed Fred. Prusky against Yacht. Um, man, I am so taking Yacht in this one. Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones. Oh my God. Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Jones are on fucking buys. Ooh. I am 100% taking Prusky in this one. 100%. Rodgers and Jones, that is Yacht's team. That's Yacht's team right there. Yeah, I'm taking Prusky in this one. You know, Joe Burrow, Derrick Henry, still got Derrick Henry, Miles Sanders, Brandon Ayuk, and then Chris Godwin, probably not back. Juju, though, I think you got enough. And then on the other side, I don't know, you like Jimmy Garoppolo, you're gonna have to. No, Yash doesn't even have a quarterback. Literally does not even have a quarterback. He has Jimmy Garoppolo, Tyrod Taylor, and Aaron Rodgers. So, yeah, I'm taking Prusky. Okay, and then the last matchup of this week is me, Kaiser Soze, against Fresh Prince of Elair. Um, in this one, I am gonna take me. Um, Kyler, Zeke, Mixon. Mixon's against the Ravens, though. I don't love that. Hopkins, Cooper Kupp. I have Terry McLaurin in over Jonathan Taylor right now. I don't know what to do. Jonathan Taylor last week looked as good as I've seen him, and he's still getting like 15 to 20 touches a game. I don't know what to do here. We'll see. But either way, and then on the other side, Drew Brees has not looked the same. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he's looked okay. I feel like him and Jonathan Taylor are pretty much a push as of right now. Antonio Gibson looks pretty good. Fuck, Antonio Gibson might look better than both those motherfuckers. Um, Josh Kelly might look better than Clyde Edwards-Helaire and JT, but and then AJ Brown and Michael Thomas, so getting the studs back. We'll see. We'll see. I'm gonna take me, but you never know. Okay, so that's pretty much what I got for that. And then just kind of want to reiterate the victory points thing. I know I am going to probably propose the victory points